James Peterson. I'm an American-educated chiropractor, and I've been working in Ecuador for 25 years. For 3 years, every day in the morning and the evening, I did the Homa fires, and I found them quite effective, and I have many anecdotes I could tell you about how my personal health improved and the way I'd seen other people's health improve. What had been interesting was that one day my wife came to me and said, "We have a patient here that we're treating for Cisticercosis." Well, immediately my medical model said, that's crazy, this man needs serious chemotherapy, and as soon as possible, because the little parasites grow incredibly rapidly. And here was a young man who later told me that he had done all the chemotherapy that was available to him. They had taken out loans, and were looking at a very impoverished situation where he hadn't been able to work for 6 months. They were practically without food and didn't know exactly what to do. So they began to do the fires. Through the courtesy of a lot of people, we gave them a pyramid, and they began to do the fires day and night and take the ashes in prescribed form. Here is the resonance, the magnetic resonance, which very clearly demonstrates a number of Cisticercosis cysts. There are 2 in this photograph, there are 5 in this photograph, there's 1 in this one, there are 2 here. He was just full of it, and the boy was very, very skinny and really on the verge of passing away within a few weeks. He began doing the fires, and here we have a second resonance taken 3.5 months later. This is in the year 2002. The second plate was taken at 6/21. We can see the calcification where the cysts were, where the live parasites were at one time, and you can see that they're all gone, they're all dead here, they're all disappeared.
Okay. Doctor, would you pinpoint the calcifications and the
I don't know how close you can get on the camera, but in this one particular, this is particularly graphic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cysts here around the ventricles in the brain. If we go over to the corresponding photograph here on this plate, you can't see those areas any longer. You can see vaguely a little bit of white here where these cysts were. Okay, this is 3.5 months with homotherapy. But this may take in mind that this gentleman was doing the fires himself in the morning and in the evening and consuming the ash. Okay, you have to do the whole thing complete. Okay, so you can see it here. There are those 2 cysts here, and you can see in the corresponding one here the calcified area that corresponds to the once living parasite in the brain. This one has one here, particularly strong, another here, and you can look at here, there's a little white spot there. Yeah.
Now we'll.
Okay, here we have in the resonance a cut of the brain which shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cisticercosis. And here are the ventricles. And you have to imagine that when we saw Vicente Gutierrez, he could hardly walk. He was extraordinarily thin. He was having convulsions. So here we have the cyst. And this man was completely emaciated. For 6 months he'd been laying in bed. They had to almost carry him in. Then, as we go over here to the corresponding cut that was taken 3.5 months later, we do not find the black spots that indicate the Cisticercosis, but we do in the same places find white spots which indicate the calcification of the cysts that were existent 3.5 months before. So, curiously enough, this man started out with us having convulsions and having to be carried in, and within 2 weeks his convulsions stopped and he was able to come by himself. He learned the fires well enough to do them morning and evening and consume the ashes.
Doctor, can you tell us for how long was it taken the regular pharmacological treatment?
Vicente told me that he had done 3 different treatments. One which he could not define very well, and the 2 others seemed to be classic chemotherapy treatments for cisticercosis.
For how long was it?
Oh, I'd say that he was probably 2 years before we met him, he started in this process. And 6 months before we met him, he was very, very bad. The last chemotherapy had not helped him any. He was in bed practically all the time. He couldn't work. He couldn't produce for his family. He was in a very, very miserable condition when he came to us. So like I say, the community of people who were doing the fires bought him a pyramid, and he spent every day coming for a couple of weeks to learn how to do the fires, and then he went home and started doing them there himself, which was really beautiful because every time he would come to the fires once a week to be with us, you could see him improving. You could see more color in his face. You could see his smile coming back to him. His wife was just terribly, terribly worried because she could see him wasting away in front of her eyes. She felt that she was going to be a widow very soon with young children. Bang, you know, there he was once again coming back to life. It was a very beautiful thing to experience.
Did you see any change on his emotional state?
Oh, we got a drunk cameraman here, yeah. Obviously, anyone who is approaching death at a very young age, imagine this man's 23 years of age, is very critical point and not very well prepared at all. So the anguish that he was suffering, his wife, and other people just beyond comprehension. That's why I think so many people chipped in to help him and become part of a positive energy in his life.
We're on.
We're on. Hi, on.